Hello, and welcome to Whispers in the Dark, the weekly horror fiction podcast featuring short stories written by yours truly, your host, Jerence George. In today's story, we'll visit a man who's been having some very strange dreams. Most of the time, an unusual dream is just your subconscious mind combining all the things you've experienced throughout the day. But sometimes, the reason behind a dream is much worse. The title of today's story is Dinah's Eyes. I lie in bed, staring up into the absolute darkness. Right about now, my eyes are useless, so my ears volunteer to pick up the slack. Oh, and what a job they're doing. I hear them out there. Can't see them, though. No, sir. Being seen is not their thing, unless it's on their terms. Raquel snores beside me with her face buried into her pillow. A sound, peaceful sleep. Damn, I envy her. An outside breeze blows in through a window oh so gently onto my face and reminds me of summers past. My head fills with memories of happy times to lull me into a false sense of comfort. Sleep begins to drape itself all over my existence. My heart thumps in its chest. My breathing speeds up. Raquel stirs. I force my breathing to return to normal. I can't let on to how bad it's gotten. I never sleptwalked before in my life. Not until we moved back home. First couple of nights she caught me sound asleep in the kitchen, going through the fridge. Then a week later she had to throw a full cup of cold water in my face to stop me from walking out the front door barefoot with sweats and a tank top at 3 a.m. She tells me sleepwalking is sometimes a manifestation of stress. She thinks it's probably from the new job, which pays considerably less, and because moving back to my hometown is bringing up feelings of inadequacy. I hope to God she's right. The alternative is too much to bear. Another gentle wind flows into the room and my muscles go slack. Keeping my eyes open suddenly becomes the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. No, can't sleep. They'll be waiting. This breeze is my enemy. It must be working for them. I consider that thought once more before my eyelids force themselves down and the world goes away. I'm walking across the street again. I don't remember getting out of bed, but here I am, again. I always look across and realize that I'm walking to a gate. To them. It feels like a dream. My feet hurt. I look down. No shoes. My once white socks are now dark gray. Everything says to stop walking, but there's something else. Something behind my thoughts that pushes me on. It's like my brain is getting the signal to stop, but somehow isn't responding. I see it coming. A broken 40-ounce bottle from a brand that I never see outside this neighborhood sits in the middle of the street that I'm currently crossing. I want to turn away, but I can't. Whatever is pushing me forward doesn't care about my pain. I look at my hands and now I know why. I'm holding something. Hadn't realized before. I got a huge plastic bowl with some sort of liquid inside. Suddenly I realize that I'm holding this bowl with more care than anyone has ever held their firstborn child with. Nothing in the world matters more than this bowl. I feel this with all of my heart. They made it so I feel this way. I hear the hard crunch of the bottle before the sharp glass slices through the underside of my right foot, shooting a piercing agony through my foot that makes me yell out. Ah! I can't stop though. They made it that way. I collapse in front of the gate and manage to fall to the side so as to not spill the liquid. I clumsily prop myself up into a sitting position, and as if from thin air, I'm surrounded by what looked to be about 30 cats, all sitting perfectly still, staring at me. My scarred hands tremble as I peel off the plastic lid to reveal the warm milk inside. They swarm it with complete disregard for me. They cover me. I wake up screaming and thrusting the comforter from over my face. My thrashing causes Raquel to also wake up screaming and have to dodge my flailing arms. I try to calm her down and convince her that it was a bad dream, until she notices the scratches on my arms and neck. Any hope of easing her panic is officially gone when she pulls back the covers and sees my filthy, blood-soaked, sock-covered feet next to hers. I lay in a cot in the dead of night. Will and a few friends convince me that the Sleep Institute could help. I humor them. Raquel catches up with me a few times throughout the day to show that she cares. Problem is, the calls and texts all seem so obligatory. Hell, if I didn't know better, I'd say she probably found some app that sends the texts automatically. And that's not me being paranoid or feeling sorry for myself. Hell, things were shaky before we moved, so what does changing locations matter when you just pick up the same issues and take them to the next set of walls? Plus, I know how she looked at me when I pulled the covers back. Even though Dr. Stewart says I haven't had an incident since arriving and should be out of here in about a week, every part of me knows she won't be there when I get back. It's probably for the best. What Rachel, all my friends, and even Dr. Stewart don't know is that I brought this on myself. Well, not me now. Not the upstanding, tax-paying, responsible adult that I am now. No, he's not the one who sealed my fate. It was another me. The me that spent summers playing tackle football in the park. The me that hadn't learned what it meant to desire the company of a woman and wouldn't think to take a sip of alcohol. No. The young, innocent, insanely stupid version of me is the one who unwittingly damned me now, in the present. That summer, I let Tommy Bartrell convince me that anything we did to an animal was okay, because his preacher uncle said in Sunday school that we had what he called dominions over all of them. He couldn't completely explain what that meant, but when we poured salt all over a snail and watched the thing bubble up and die, and then nothing happened to us, I figured maybe he was onto something. The problem was the testing got too good to Tommy. Didn't take too long for the dismemberment and burning of insects to bore him. And that meant he needed to test the limits of his newly discovered dominion. Tommy always had a thing about cats. I figured it was because one scared his mother so bad on the way back from the store one day that she fell dead right in the back alley she always took on the way home. When he showed up at my house with Dinah, the neighborhood stray cat that everyone knew, I should have known something was wrong. Dinah was the friendliest cat I'd ever known, would walk up to just about anyone. As a matter of fact, it was mean old Miss Walters from down the street who ended up naming the cat after her favorite singer I'd never heard of. Somebody named Dinah Washington or Wilmington or something. Anyway, I guess this Dinah chose the wrong person to walk up to one bright Saturday morning. I should have shut the door in Tommy's face, but for some reason, I didn't. Tommy always did have a way of making his ideas seem like both of our ideas. I guess there was no real way of knowing that setting foot off my front porch that Saturday morning was about the worst decision I could have made. We spent the day putting that damn poor cat through all sorts of torment. Half drowned, burned, and tossed from different heights. and after a while she just plopped down on the pavement and faded away. I'd been feeling sick to my stomach since the terrible mess had begun, and seeing that poor little brutalized thing stare me in the face as it took its last breath was just about all that was needed to make my breakfast come back up. I remember Tommy being so amused that he fell to the ground. I can still hear his hysterical laughter as I bent over and clutched my belly while throwing up behind a Rite Aid with the corpse of a mutilated stray cat lying between us. Time passes and new experiences replace old, unwanted memories. At least that's what I used to think. Now I know that not all memories disappear. And if a memory digs in deep enough, it will stick around. And no additional amount of tragedy or ecstasy can dislodge it. It's like my mind had some sort of happiness governor. Even years later, whenever I got to feeling too good, the image of Dinah's mangled face with those half-closed yellow eyes looking up at me would pop into my head, and that slight, queasy feeling would start tingling my stomach. I'd feel it every time, like clockwork. It was as if Dinah were somewhere out there in the ether saying, "Try to have fun all you want, buddy, but don't forget, we got business." I was always able to shake that feeling off with another shot or a deeper kiss from Raquel when she was in the mood. But I knew my time was up when the dreams started. Just like I'm not surprised now as I open the side door to the Institute and creep out with 2 bottles of milk and some meat from someone's sandwich out of the fridge. Don't remember falling asleep, but hell, I never do. The sidewalk leading to the main street is cold under my bare feet. Guess the command to leave was so strong in my mind that I didn't even get the chance to put on shoes. It's no shock that they came to me for revenge, even though I was more of an observer that day than anything else. Since the dream started, I used to wonder why they never came after Tommy. But after a while, I understood. Tommy's life has been an ongoing series of bad choices, bad company, and just damn bad luck. I'm the one who tried to bury the past and live a happy, normal life. I guess Dinah's got something to say about that after all. After about a mile, the wound from my right foot is reopened and blood flows freely from it. I anticipate every step down with the dread I've never known. As my injured right foot hits the asphalt, I let out a moan with the pathetic hope that making the sound will somehow ease the pain. It doesn't, but I moan anyway. And they're starting to follow me now. What I thought at first were harmless shadows in the corner of my eye turned out to be them. What looked like at least 100 cats come from everywhere around. Underneath cars, out of bushes, through fences, they're everywhere. Some follow close behind and on my sides. They make sure to give me a fresh lightning-fast scratch when it looks like I'm slowing down. Whenever I dare look at one of them, I see a sight that shocks me, even though somehow I was expecting it. They all have her eyes. On this long two-way street with a vacant lot on the right, they follow. Her eyes follow me on dozens of different bodies, half slit but still locked on. The tears have begun to flow, partially from the pain, and maybe also from holding on to decades of guilt from a heinous act. But the main reason why I let my tears run free is that I know where I'm meant to go. I can see it in my mind like I'm looking at it with my own 2 eyes. The gate. The same gate by my house that I've been going to. Well, the house was a few blocks away from it, but the Institute has got to be a good 20 miles from there. I guess it doesn't matter much to them. Or maybe they know exactly how much pain I'm in, and it was the plan all along. I wonder, if I collapse, will my limbs continue to move against my will? I guess I'll find out soon enough.
Well, I think an obvious takeaway here is to always be kind to animals, mainly because they're living creatures, but also because there might be more to them than meets the eye. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to give it a like and a share from your favorite podcast listening platform. And remember, the next time you find yourself alone and in the dark, listen closely. You just might hear the whispers. We'll talk to you next time.